All right. Welcome, everyone, to day 2 of Audiobiz's virtual NAMM coverage. I am joined here by Brian Christ from Audiobiz. He is my new co-host. I've been running solo today, so good to have you, Brian, coming from the undisclosed bunker in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
And thanks for having me. I just didn't want you to be too lonely.
Yep, exactly. And today we are talking with Phil and Gary from PWS. We're going to be talking about some fun wireless things. We wanted to thank everyone for joining us. Also, just remember that this is an interactive broadcast, so make sure that you comment on the platform that you're watching on, whether it's Facebook or YouTube, and we can bring those questions in. We've got some geniuses waiting in the wings to answer all of your RF questions. So make sure you guys interact with us, and also stay tuned to watch out for the secret word of the day, which we will be dropping. We are giving away some mystery boxes. Hey, Brian, do you know what the mystery boxes are all about?
I don't. Is there a way that we could learn more?
Yeah, there is a way that we can learn more. So let me drop this video here. It'll explain the mystery box. And when we get done with that video, we're going to be joined by Phil and Gary of PWS.
So what is a mystery box? We've collected swag from all of our manufacturers, plus some guaranteed prizes that will be in the limited edition Audiobiz NAMM 2021 mystery box. These boxes will be packed at random and filled to the brim with t-shirts, hats, stickers, all the fun swag you'd normally get at NAMM. We've collected from all of our manufacturers. We're gonna pack these at random and send them to you. So all you have to do is collect the 5 secret words. We're gonna drop one every single day. You're just gonna go to this web address, fill out the form, submit your secret words, and be entered to win. So these mystery boxes are limited to the first 30 people that submit the correct 5 secret words. So you don't wanna miss out on the videos, and you don't wanna miss your chance to win one of our limited edition mystery boxes. This mystery box could be yours. It's so heavy. Don't sleep, get a mystery box.
Awesome. Hey, look, everyone is here. We have, first off, I wanted to thank you guys for coming on. Our virtual NAMM interviews, live stream. This would have been what, the second NAMM that PWS has been at?
Yeah, I think so. So just imagine lots of food line queues behind me and lots of spandex, and it's exactly the same.
Yeah, I mean, with NAMM making changes and adding the pro audio wing now, it's been attracting some different crowds, different people. A lot of production guys are coming. So you guys had a bang last year with starting out with NAMM, and it gets cut short by this year. So welcome. Unfortunately, we are all not in sunny California. We are in the cold states of Wisconsin and Tennessee. So we'll live with what we've got. But second all, Phil, you are not the first redheaded British person I've had on the show today. Even I'm surrounded by British redheads, so that's like more unicorns than I can shake a stick at. And Gary, I just wanted to wish you a happy birthday, since it's your birthday. You are taking time out of your day to talk gear with us.
Yeah, thanks very much. Happy to spend it with you wonderful people.
Yes.
You can celebrate it again under your Christmas tree.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. See, I mean, you are still very festive. I like that.
Yeah, we leave the holiday stuff up until after my birthday. That's just our tradition here.
All right, the tradition. So you are marking the end of the season,
Yeah, I think my wife's already got it planned out to take stuff down this weekend. It's on the calendar.
Awesome. Well, I like the holiday cheer. It's good. I just took down my Christmas tree anyway. So, PWS. We've had you on a What the Tech episode before, but everyone might not be familiar with PWS, but I always like to tell people, especially if you've been touring, you've probably been using PWS equipment, because those wonderful helical antennas, that was my first blush into PWS. But you guys have really been around for a while now, getting into some pretty crazy RF teching and doing a lot of that stuff. So you want to just give us kind of a rundown of, kind of how PWS really got started and what PWS actually does.
Absolutely. So PWS was started by a guy called James Stoffo back in 1992. So we're coming up on 20 years now since we started. He was working for an RF wireless microphone manufacturer, which has now bitten the dust. And as they were selling more product, he was realizing the key here is not going to be the product, it's going to be the coordination of the product and the setting of it up. So he left that manufacturer, started out on his own, and has built the business from there based on coordination services. We started doing Super Bowls in '97, and we essentially wrote the book on large event RF coordination, which has been amended and changed and based and coerced by many, many other people that come after us. We started getting into hardware production about 10 years ago because we just kept saying, boy, I wish there was a box that did this. Well, we should probably just make one. So at the moment, PWS does an awful. We do regularly the Super Bowl halftime show, which is where Gary's off to this week. We've done Coachella for the past 3 years. We do Salesforce. We do a lot of stuff with Telemundo, a lot of stuff with Univision, a lot of award ceremonies. Anything which requires large-scale coordination of a bunch of frequencies, we tend to get involved.
Awesome. Gary, are you excited to go to the Super Bowl? I mean, I know you're a huge sports fan, so,
Yeah, I think it'll be fun. It'll be my 5th, so
nice.
Always exciting to we've been planning that out for the last couple of months now, and actually getting on site and setting it all up is going to be great. It's going to be a unique challenge this year with as spread out as everything is, too.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine. That's got to be a whole host of other issues to overcome.
Yeah, usually we're worried about how do you get that giant stage onto the center of the field, and this year they're not having a stage on the field, so we're going to figure out what to do building the stage in the stadium.
Okay. See, I haven't heard any of the fun things coming up for the Super Bowl, so that'll be interesting to check out and get the stories afterwards. I can't imagine working that high of a pressure event. I mean, I'm sure that's got to be
it's only 140 some odd million people that know if I mess something up, so no pressure. Yeah.
Exactly. Whoa, I can barely talk here. So, we kind of want to talk about, a little bit of some of the stuff that we didn't really touch on last time on our episode. And we've really, one of the big products that you guys kind of hang your hat on is a lot of antenna distribution for large wireless deployments. And we've got a couple different series with the Alpha and the Omega series. And do you want to kind of run us through, like, what's the differences? What are the advantages, disadvantages? Well,
Sure.
Probably no disadvantages, but,
Yes, we're lots of disadvantages to our product. Thanks, Sean. We have two basic tiers of hardware, the Alpha and the Omega. So Alpha is designed to be plug and play. You take an antenna, you plug it in, you take a receiver unit and you plug it in. The Omega takes that to the next level and adds tweakability. So the Omega has gain controls for the input, the RF inputs. It's got bias control and muting. So entry level, plug and play, Alpha. If you just want to plug stuff in and make it work, Alpha is the thing for you. If you want to tweak some stuff, then Omega. Those are the two levels of products that we have.
Scary, what are you using on the Super Bowl?
We're using some of the Omega product on the Super Bowl. Specifically, we'll be using one of the Quadversity distros because we've got a lot of Shure Axient digital receivers, and we will run those with a 4 antenna system they have, which Shure calls Quadversity. And so we've got a distro, and I think we're the only people that make a distro that's like purpose built for an ABCD antenna system for Axient digital.
Yes, I believe that is a true statement. Nobody is crazy enough to make a Quadversity distro, not even Shure. So yeah. It is kind of cool that you guys are really, making those for that feature. Where are you guys using the Quadversity, on the Super Bowl? Like, how are you guys implementing that?
Yeah, so traditionally what we've done is the ref mic. So we'll put 4 antennas around the field. Kind of on each sideline, sort of 30-yard line on each side, so that no matter where the ref is on the field, he's close to 2 of those 4 antennas. Other times, if we've had like a halftime show that has to cover a large portion of the stadium, we'll have Quadversity for that. And then a lot of those systems are also frequency diversity. So we'll be doing 2 carriers per microphone and send that back into a quad diversity. So you turn a 4-channel receiver into a 1-channel receiver. Sure loves you because you're buying a lot of their gear, but it really gives you excellent coverage for a pretty wide area.
Almost guaranteed to have no dropouts, hopefully.
Yeah. The timelines from Wireless Workbench are fun to go back and look and watch, 4 antennas and the difference in reception between them as you go through your rehearsals.
Cool.
So how important is filtering in all of the products that you guys make and what you do?
Yeah, very important. I mean, both the Alpha and the Omega products have a front end filter on them. You can buy it for the different frequency bands of the equipment that you're using. I mean, at a very basic level, we'll at least put, like, say you've got a UHF TV band receiver, we'll have a 470 to 616 meg filter on the front end, which filters out all of the upper 600 meg range that's been sold off. We've got other products that are purpose built for, like, STL band 940. And so we've got a filter that just filters it down to STL band. And that helps the receivers a lot to get rid of all the signals you don't care about and just see the signals that you want to receive.
Cool.
Are you guys using a lot of different frequency bands, like when you are doing events like that? I mean, obviously you're dealing with comms and all the regular wireless and everything like that. Are you guys mixing that up a lot?
Yeah, I would say in any of the large events, band planning is a big part of our pre-production. So we're deciding what bands we're going to have microphones in, what maybe different bands we're going to do, let's say in your monitors, IFBs, where the comm's going to go. We try and separate those things out if we've got the bandwidth to do it. And so then each one of those is going to be filtered into their specific range, and that helps tremendously.
Cool. Travis joined us. He wasn't able to, join us live on the thing, but he's poking in. Phil is a wealth of musical knowledge, and Travis would like a song recommendation. Phil, like what's going through Phil's playlist right now?
What is going through my playlist right now? I'm rediscovering, because I just bought a new USB drive for my car, so rediscovering a bunch of stuff I haven't heard in a while. And so the Manic Street Preachers' Holy Bible is an album I revisited. The Wonder Stuff, Never Loved Elvis, is another one that I've just come across. And I was listening to Peter Gabriel's Secret World Live on the way in this morning.
Peter Gabriel. I like it. Travis or Brian, what about you? What are you listening to?
Oh man, what am I not listening to? As Sean will tell you, I kind of go all over the place. I've been on a bit of a pop punk journey lately, but and anything basically does the trick.
Guitar solos later on going.
Maybe we'll see if everyone's well behaved. We might break it out, or maybe if they're well behaved, we won't break it out. That's probably better. Yeah,
it's probably the best way. Gary, what about you? Any musical selections that are going on right now?
Yes. So we just finished watching this show that was on Apple TV called Ted Lasso, and so I've been listening to Mumford and Sons because Mumford did the music for that.
Nice. I have been hearing about that show. Everyone keeps on telling me to watch that, and it's always on the list, and then I always forget to go into the Apple TV thing. So,
it's worth a watch.
All right. Well, see.
So I've got one more. There is a dub reggae version of OK Computer.
A dub reggae version of OK Computer. Okay.
Yes, it's called Radio Dread, and it is phenomenally good.
All right. I will have to add that to the playlist. And Travis agrees. Ted Lasso is so good. So I'm glad to hear that. So
Travis is in a fever dream at the moment. So
he is. Yeah, he doesn't know what's going on, but at least it's good stuff. So, kind of one of the other areas that PWS really excels at is really large antenna distributed systems. Brian from our tech side gets calls about this all the time of some guy who's like, I want to use a microphone on a 50,000 square foot casino floor, but I just want one microphone so I can be anywhere, So what are some of the products that you guys are doing, for those types of situations?
Yeah, the Alpha multi-zone distro is probably the first place to start with that. So it's a distro that will feed up to 8 receivers, and it's got 4 zone inputs. And so you've got like an A and B antenna in for 4 different areas. And so you can, just like you're talking about, casino, convention space, maybe you're in a TV studio with multiple studios and you want to use the same gear across all of that area. you can put diversity antenna pairs in 4 different areas and pick up a much wider range with that.
Cool. I'm assuming in these larger, especially like the Super Bowl and stuff, you're also getting into zoned type situations, covering other areas that you wouldn't be the main bowl area.
Yeah,
Am I
definitely.
correct?
Yeah, and in that case, we're sometimes having zones that are maybe RF over fiber feeding back into an RF head end, and so we'll have, I think on this Super Bowl, I'll probably have 5 or 6 different zones of coverage that feed into my main rack, and so wherever you are in the stadium, we can drop a set of receive antennas and pick you up. We've also got some ability to do IFB or IEM transmit to multiple zones, and that's one of those applications that if you're getting into that, give us a call, because one of our applications folks will probably want to talk to you about the best way to do multi-zone transmit, which is a little bit different animal.
Yeah, you recently helped me out with that on a TV station here locally. They were looking at doing a zone system with IFB and regular, so they could be on the deck outside talking about the weather, or in any of the studios. It's pretty cool stuff, and you guys do really offer a lot of those services with it. So.
Yeah.
The RF over fiber, that's kind of an interesting concept to me. You guys make that product. How has that been received, and like kind of how do you compare in the marketplace, I guess?
Yeah, it's been pretty popular. So the PWS RF over fiber product is called Prism, and it just uses single mode fiber. And you can go kilometers of single mode fiber, and you put receive box on your far end, and then your transmit box at your head end. And so rather than your typical limitation, even with really low loss coax, is maybe a couple 300 feet max to get an antenna out, at some distance from your head end receive. But that you can remote it very large distance away. Yeah, like you can see on the screen here, the packaging is designed to be portable. It's got a 4-pin XLR input, so you can even use a battery pack on it if you need to on the far end, or just wall wart, plug it in. You'd use 2 of them for diversity, but each one is just a single transmit and receive pair, so it's real flexible. Stand mount on there. You can put a C-clamp on it, and pretty much sky's the limit as far as what you want to bolt it to, and just get it next to your antenna, and it makes it so that your losses over distance are far, far less than they would be otherwise.
So it looks like you make these also in VHF, UHF, STL band for each different type of application. How is that differing inside those units? Is it just using different?
Yeah, so it's what Brian was asking. Yeah, what Brian was asking about before. There's a filter that's built in before the receive unit, and so we sell them with the filters pre-built. If you need to change them up later, the filter is, modular internally. We can put a different filter board in there. So it's the same transmit and receive fiber optic unit in there, and it's just a different front end filter depending on which one you buy.
This has been one of our strongest sellers since April. So obviously in March and April, all the events guys were going, we don't know what's going to happen. And then TV, broadcast, and film started coming back in April and May. And we saw demand for these pop up significantly, because everyone was concerned about, how do I get the fewest number of people together in one place that I need to? How can I remote an awful lot? And being able to throw single mode fiber on the RF and have your audio guys in another building really helped them to achieve that.
Yeah, it's crazy product. What were you gonna say, Brian?
I was just gonna kind of ask, like, how important, because we see a lot of these distribution amps and combiners. Can you just touch on why that's so important, and why what we tend to see a lot, which is somebody buys 8 wireless units and puts them in a giant pile with little antenna fin stacks on either side. What makes it compelling to do it the actual right way,
the proper way?
Sure.
The PWS way.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things with it. I mean, number one, remoting your antennas, especially we were talking before about like those PWS helical antennas, getting a directional antenna that's got some gain is in almost any circumstance an advantage. And so you're going to put in your typical setup, you're going to put 2 antennas out, right? A and B diversity pair. And then that needs to feed back to your rack. And a lot of the receivers nowadays will have some sort of a cascade option where you can feed into one and then chain down to the next. But there's a limitation on doing that because every time you're passing through one of these receivers, you're re-amplifying the signal and you're adding noise to the signal. And so kind of best practices is to go from your antenna, immediately filter it, then go through one amplifier stage into a multi-channel distribution box, which is the sort of thing that PWS sells. And so then you've got this distro that has outs that every single receiver gets its own dedicated feed, that the only thing that's upstream from that is your antenna, a filter, and an amplifier. And so that gives you your kind of best possible performance.
And the other thing is with the Omni whip antennas that tend to come with most receivers and the transmitter on handheld or belt pack, keeping those two things in the same plane is fairly critical. So if your transmit's doing this and your receiver's doing this or this or this, you're now moving away from being in the same plane. So your chances of getting robust RF signal starts going away as soon as you start doing that.
Gotcha. Yeah. Good stuff.
Speaking of helical antennas, since again you're kind of iconic helical antennas, we recently had the tour series of helical antennas, which I have to say, as a guy lugging around antennas doing production stuff, these are really cool because it gives you the ability to have them in a smaller spot here. And I'm going to pull this up. So fits in a 4-space drawer, which is pretty awesome. Considering you used to have to carry around giant trunks with helical antennas in there. So, this again kind of is showing, some of the products that really you guys develop, out of kind of need and necessity of doing that. I guess, is there any, disadvantages to using the little short guys versus the standard helicals? You have a little.
No, I mean, they're both helical antennas. The difference is the clear helical that everybody's used to that's a little bit longer is a 4-turn helical. And then this tour series is a 2-turn helical. So it's half the number of turns and it's half the distance on that center tube. So the pattern's a little different. This one is a narrower pattern and a little higher gain directly on axis. The 2-turn is a little bit wider pattern. So it's a little bit more similar to like the shark fin kind of LPDA antennas that people are used to. So it will depend on your application. Like if you need maximum distance, your 4-turn is still the way to go. But for a lot of these applications where stuff's just setting up side stage at your typical sort of music concert sort of setup, 2-turn covers the stage really well. And as you said, is just easier to pack and, more portable.
So on the design of the 2-turn, there's some competitive people out there that are making collapsible helical antennas, which can pose some problems. They're nice and portable, but not always the best performance, I guess I would say. Is that why you guys went with a rigid design?
Yeah, we're pretty keen on keeping that helical pattern exactly right, formed against that piece of plastic tube. When something's collapsing and springing back out, you don't really know if it's going to maintain its shape. So I don't think you'll see a collapsible product from PWS unless we can figure out a way to really fix the spiral and make it accurate.
And Phil, to your point earlier, that solves the problem of being on axis, right? Because that helical is sort of all axes.
Yeah, so it's a lot more forgiving compared to the plane because the helical doesn't really care. The other thing to point out with RTS versus the collapsible from the competitor is when that antenna is collapsed, it's actually taller than RTS.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, well, that's a huge advantage then, to have that. Any other, I guess, sage advice, especially from Gary, on people that are getting into RF or larger distributed systems? Like any always go-to tips that kind of people tend to overlook, I guess I would say.
Yeah, I think the thing I talk to people probably the most about is RF gain structure and filtering. But RF gain structure, a lot of folks get into this, they're audio guys, right? And they think they know audio gain structure, but they don't think about RF the same way. And people have a tendency, I think, to over amplify in RF. If I can do it, I'll use an antenna with some gain, and then a filter and get right into, go through some low loss coax and get into my rack. And that most times gives you better performance than trying to use an amplified antenna with a inline amplifier somewhere along the run with small coax. And you have a lot more issues with RF overload and with, increased noise floor and things that, again, intuitively you wouldn't go to your audio console, take the preamp and turn it wide open, then wonder why the audio is distorted. But people tend to do that sort of thing with RF and not think about it.
More power.
I'm sure that Gary and I know support calls that we get, the number of things that we fix by telling people to turn down their amplified antennas is astonishing. It's almost a weekly occurrence.
Yeah.
It can just be solved by not putting that amplifier there.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
So, and along the lines of gain structure, think about your goal is really still just unity gain, right? You're not trying to put plus 20 dB into your system. And so if you know what the Omni antenna at the back of the receiver is going to do gain wise, if you can add some coaxial cable and a directional antenna with some gain and still maintain that, unity gain, same amount of gain from that new system, you're going to have excellent performance even with remoted antennas.
Excellent. Well, I guess anything else, that you can bring to the table, from PWS perspective, you guys offer a lot of services, with design, also helping people with larger channel counts to be able to get FCC licenses. You guys have a lot of aspects to the business that I just think a lot of people don't really know. They see PWS as, the antenna manufacturer or the guys that are running the Super Bowl. I guess is there anything that you guys want to add of like kind of your services or you're rounding out your portfolio of things that you find really help people in the field?
I think it's worth pointing out that we just don't help people who are doing Coachella-sized events. At the end of the day, if you've got 4 channels of wireless, you have a wireless system. And that requires education and knowledge about what that system does, especially if you're going to add to it at some point. So we're really trying to build out over the next year or so a bunch of resources and education to allow you to get a handle on what an RF system is. We've started already. If you go to the resource page on professionalwireless.com, there's a section there called RF Basics, which is a set of 11 sort of 1 and 2 sheet educational things, which takes you all the way through from I don't know anything about RF through the system components, what each of them do, why they do it. So if you read through those 11 things, you should have a much better idea about what RF systems do. And now you've done that, you can now make better informed decisions about what systems you need, what the equipment's going to look like, and how you're going to use it.
Excellent. That is a good resource. We also, time to time, have live events when we can have them. But hopefully we'll be doing some stuff this year with PWS and getting that education out there. Because I would agree there is a lot of still mystery about wireless mics. People tend to just throw it out there and be like, why doesn't it work? Brian.
The forums are constantly filled with people going, it worked perfectly last Sunday and this Sunday it doesn't. What happened? I would like those comments to go away.
That is Phil's goal in life.
That's Phil's goal in life. I want to stop seeing those comments pop up.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad that you guys are here to help educate people, because it is a topic that Brian and I tend to talk about a lot with people. Also, it is a good topic to educate people, and I think that's really helping get the best out of your RF system, since everyone's lazy like myself, and we all want wireless microphones, and cords are the bane of our existence.
And it's amazing. There are bands that I come across that I have no idea who they are, that are touring with 40 plus channels. I mean, that just seems to be normal now. Whereas 10 years ago, that was abnormal. So the use is rocketing, and it's not going to slow down anytime soon. The FCC is reducing the amount of space we get to work in. So this is becoming a tougher job by the month almost.
So Gary, since you've dealt with these big events, like what was your largest RF coordination for an event? Like how many channels were being used for, some of these big events?
Yeah, I've had events with over 500 frequencies. which is a very large event. I mean, the ones that I do now are still in the 100 channels or more, and like Phil said, the bandwidth is just getting less and less, and we're having to really band plan out where all the gear is going to go. I think PWS tends to get a lot of calls from folks kind of because we're manufacturer agnostic, if you will. They've got Shure systems, Sennheiser systems, they maybe got intercom systems from Clearcom or Riedel or whoever, and that they want all of this stuff to work, and they've got lots of wireless needs across their entire production. And so being able to talk to somebody who can speak to all the different wireless devices that they're going to use, and we're guys that have used them and have used them in large difficult environments, and it's good to have someone with some experience who can tell you, here's what you need to know to make your system work reliably.
Awesome. Well, it looks like we're getting close to the end of our time for today. So I appreciate you guys jumping on. And I forgot the most important thing. I forgot the secret word. We were talking and nobody told me to play the secret word. Brian, you're failing me now. So we are going to play the secret word. And just so everyone knows, collect all of the secret words and get entered to win a limited edition mystery box that we showed about earlier. And basically collect those words. We've got one word each day. And at the end of the week, you can go to audiobiz.com/NAMM 2021. I have not screwed that one up yet and said 2020. Now I've cursed myself. I will be saying that forever on. But visit us there, enter those secret words. And you can also reach out via that to get some more information on any of the products that we're talking about. So let me give you the secret word here.
The secret word is lanyard.
How many lanyards does everyone have? Phil has been at millions of trade shows. Gary has been at millions of events. The lanyard collections have to be amazing. I'm assuming.
No, I ditched all mine years ago when I decided that it just wasn't worth it. It's when you can make them into a rope for towing cars. You got too many. So when you're re-rigging boats with them, you got too many.
I've got like a good old tie hanger thing that's just got 100 lanyards on it. It seems like it's just hanging in the closet.
Do you keep all your credentials? Like, do you have the credential tag?
Some of them, yeah. I should figure out some way to make a big collage out of credentials someday.
And be like, man, I have done a lot of events,
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to joining us on our virtual NAMM tour. And it was good to talk with you guys again. And hopefully we'll be doing some more live events on some of those education coming up in this next year and spreading the good word of good RF. So
that's all we hope for.
That's all we hope for. Awesome. Thank you guys again. And again, if anyone has more questions on any of the PWS products, give us a call at Audiobiz or visit us on the website at audiobiz.com. And we will see you on tomorrow's stream.